Good afternoon. Today, the Whiskey Scout does more than play with whiskey. Today we've got Rough Rider. Rough Rider is a 45% alcohol by volume. It's a bourbon finished in wine. And I'll have to read it to you. Right now I've got this pan cooling because the Whiskey Scout likes to find old cast iron, scrubs it all up, cleans it all down, refinishes it, and he collects it. He originally did it to buy and sell, but I get attached to things, unfortunately. And so this is a problem I have. But anyway, I got a lot of neat old cast iron pans. But for information purposes on what we're actually here today while this is cooling, because I got to give it its first coat. I got this off the net. This is the best way I found to do this. Rough Rider Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And it's got an NV, which I have no idea what that means in this situation. So if somebody knows, feel free to put it down below. It's a Long Island. It's in New York. It's a distillery in New York, Long Island. They do everything. They do everything. It's all right there. They do everything. Warehouse, distill, and everything right there on location. It's an old 5,000-acre potato farm. All right. This is named after Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider. He was our, oh my gosh, I don't remember which president he was, but he was part of the Rough Riders, which was a volunteer group that fought in the Spanish-American War. I think he was a colonel in charge of the Rough Riders, if I'm right. But we are stretching my high school history class at this point. All right, that does give us a little bit on there. So, in 1898, Teddy Roosevelt, a native Long Islander, organized the United States' first volunteer cavalry, known as the Rough Riders. This disparate group of men shared a common purpose, the pursuit of adventure, independence, and excellence. So it gives you a little bit about the meaning behind Teddy Roosevelt. I should have looked on here more intently. I did not notice that. Our ABV on this is 45%. Our mash bill 60% corn, 35% rye, and 5% malted barley. Rough Rider Straight Bourbon Whiskey is carefully handcrafted and aged in New American oak casks for a minimum of 2 years, and then matured in wine casks formerly housing Merlot or Chardonnay from a renowned Long Island wine estates. The casks are first rinsed with high-proof brandy, allowing the bourbon to take on a new character, which adds depth and complexity and a hint of fruit such as blackberry or currant. So I'm not going to go into the tasting notes on this because I already know what I think, and I'm going to give you what I think. Now, I've tried it over the last several days, tried just little bits here and there, and it's a good medium to dark amber. I mean, this has got a good color to it. Cleans the side of the glass very well. I don't want to let it get too cool. Okay, you get the back. It does have a spicy floral character that is, and it's mostly, I think it's more the wine influence in it. But it also has the caramel. You get the caramel big time on the nose. A little vanilla. But mostly it's kind of like the notes say, it's mostly a floral, spicy floralness. It's not like flowers or orange blossoms. It's more along the lines of like cardamom or any of the spicy that has the floral notes, any of the spices that have floral notes to them. I cannot. This is making my mouth water. It's a young bourbon. You can taste the young bourbon in it. It's not a very deeply matured bourbon. And that's bringing up mostly your slight corniness in it. You do get some of the corn. Mostly you get caramel. Caramel, black brown sugar and caramel. Those two notes really come through on this one for me. It's a good mouth coating. A little hot on the mid part of the tongue. Slightly dry. It finishes medium, a little below medium finish. It didn't take long to finish. The wine notes take over though. You can really taste the wine in the background. The wine brings a sourness, and that sourness I don't care for. I have to be honest. You get a little bit of the sourness of, it's going to sound terrible to say this, you get a little of the sourness of maybe a inexpensive young wine that comes in and into the finish, into the tail end of the taste and into the finish, and it kind of dominates the finish. I don't taste any of the brandy effects in it, like I did with the cigar blend from Joseph Magnus that I had a sample of from Thank You Bart at Scotch Test Dummies. That was some of the best stuff that were on this. It's not digress. But thank you for the sample. That created a heck of a memory. That was some good stuff. I cannot find it. Anyway, it's not bad. It's not something I particularly care for. But it hits all the right notes for bourbon. It's just the sourness, for young bourbon, it's just the sourness in the end. And it's almost like they finish it in the wine barrels to try to cover up some of the youthfulness of the bourbon itself. And that may be what they're doing. And they're trying to get a product to sell. And who knows, as time goes on and they can offer us more aged bourbons, we might really see a change in character in where this is, where they can go with this, because the overall spirit is not a bad spirit. It just needs more time. It needs more time in the barrel. Score wise, I give it an 81 out of 100. That's the most I can give it. I can't give it any more than that. Well, I need to get back to this. It's starting to cool down so I can work on it finally. I don't want to get too much cooler. So with that, I'll sign off from here. And remember, the spirit in your glass is not running from you. Take your time, sip it and enjoy it. You'll be better for it. And if you want, try some Rough Rider. That was about $40 for that bottle, so that's kind of expensive. But your mileage may be different and you won't know until you try it. Everybody, have a good day.